A top story first, the controversy surrounding Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Joseph Vijay's decision to scrap the proposed 27,400 crore rupee greenfield airport at Parandur, what would have been Chennai's second airport and much needed one at that, continues to rage on. Now, what's important to remember is that the decision to scrap it is not new. After all, this was one of the TVK's major poll promises. And coming back to the project itself, cleared by the previous DMK government, the proposed Parandur airport had faced over 1,000 days of protests over the intended acquisition of farmlands and the decision to build the airport over water bodies and residential settlements. But the decision also raises some immediate questions. What happens to the roughly 1,700 acres of private land already acquired? What becomes of the money already spent and the infrastructure planned around the airport? And how quickly can the government identify an alternative site without compromising on Chennai's future aviation capacity? The DMK on its part has called the decision an irreversible setback to Tamil Nadu's growth. So is its objection to the scrapping of Parandur itself, or to the absence of a ready alternative? And more importantly, the hypothetical selection of an alternative site notwithstanding, is the politics over Parandur likely to continue for the foreseeable future? Joining us now to discuss all this and more is DMK spokesperson A Saravanan. Mr. Saravanan, thank you so much for joining us on South Central today. My first question to you, beyond the DMK's opposition to the scrapping of the Parandur airport project, is your principal objection is simply that the government cancel the project without first announcing an alternative site or a timeline? So could you explain the DMK's principal position on this?
Everybody understands how important Parandur Airport is for the future of the state of Tamil Nadu. Everybody also understands that the Meenambakkam Airport cannot be improved, whether it's like quantity-wise, because there are two intersectional runways. We don't have parallel runways in Meenambakkam, so there is no question of improving it or extending it. The capacity of Meenambakkam Airport cannot be augmented. This is the first problem. That is why we wanted to find an airport which will be of greater utility in the future, which will have the capacity to handle 100 million passengers a year. So this is the idea behind Parandur Airport. And we completed all the processes. 90% of land acquisition was completed. And now suddenly Mr. Vijay drops a bombshell that Parandur Airport is cancelled. This line, Parandur Airport is cancelled. Apart from that, there is nothing more. He just walks into the assembly under the 110 rule, says Parandur Airport is cancelled. How can that happen in a democratic society? It's not possible. It should not happen that way.
But Mr. Saravanan, you will agree with me, I'm sure, and also recall that Parandur in fact became a deeply emotive issue, with villagers protesting for nearly 1,000 days over the impact the project would have on water bodies, homes and farmlands in the vicinity. Looking back, do you reckon that the DMK government possibly could have engaged more sufficiently with the protesters? Could it have possibly prevented the issue from snowballing into an election promise first and then eventually its cancellation?
There is one aspect behind this cancellation. That is the massive ego of the Chief Minister, Mr. Vijay. Oh, this is the place where I started my political career. This is the protest which marked my political career. So I will mark it as a success. I have the power now, so I'm using it, exercising it to massage my own ego. Apart from that, there is nothing more to it. We took care of everything. The villagers were protesting, and we ensure that they do not go unheard. That is why I mentioned 90% of the protesters or the land have been acquired. How was it made possible? There is only one village which was still protesting, which is still there. Everybody else have moved out. So any project, take for example the metro project. Metro project, how many houses were wrecked? How many businesses have gone defunct? How many people have lost their lives? But did they not give out their properties, houses, business establishments, For what? For the greater common good. You cannot build an airport without acquiring a farmland, without destroying water bodies, without displacing people. It's not possible. Wherever in the state of Tamil Nadu, you will not be able to get an unencumbered, dry wasteland up to the tune of 5,000 acres. Where will they find it? So this is their ego, nothing else.
Right. Now, Mr. Saravanan, I want to see where this goes from here. I mean, could the decision to cancel Parandur now be challenged in court? Is that legal option available? And is the DMK likely to pursue that route? And if not, how quickly must the government actually go about identifying and beginning work on another site simply to avoid delaying Chennai's second airport?
See. With regard to this legal process, that's what I said. Did this government commission any study? Did this government get the opinion of any experts? Is Mr. Vijay an ecology expert? Or anybody from TVK, an expert on farmlands, on water management? On what basis can they derail? On what basis can they say, no, this project is cancelled? What basis? See, there should be continuance. Just because you have come to power doesn't mean that you can take Tughlaqi decisions. This is not governance. This is Tughlaq Darbar at its best, at its finest. If you look at how this process has gone ahead, this was not taken by one single government. This decision was not brought into effect by a single man deciding. Various authorities, various agencies of the union government, of the state government decided, conducted feasibility studies at 5 sites in and around Chennai. Then they chose Parandur. Can you just like that, in a one-time statement, say, I'm cancelling? What about the crores and crores of money that has been dropped in? People have got money and moved out. What will you do with that? And the land acquisition laws are very clear. You cannot use that land for any other purpose than the purpose for which you have acquired it. I don't know whether they thought about all these legal consequences. They want to satisfy the leader's ego. So there are a lot of nobody there has the courage to point out to Mr. Vijay that the state of Tamil Nadu's welfare, the welfare of the people of Tamil Nadu is more important than his ego and than his symbolic Pyrrhic victory. I think that is the point here. Legally, we don't know. We have not taken any decision on that. The leadership will take a call how to move forward, which will be the best way, whether to mobilize public support or to take the legal route or do whatever it takes to ensure that Parandur becomes a reality. This is one aspect of the question. The other thing is, if not Parandur, then where? If not now, then when? Our former finance minister, Mr. Tangam Tenarasu, was on record. He said, okay, if the project starts now, within 3 months, 3 years, we'll be able to finish the construction. If Mr. Vijay or the TVK government finds an alternative site, I'm sure they will not be able to find anything. If they do that, how long is it going to take? 10 years? We don't know. So they have effectively put the growth of the state of Tamil Nadu on hold. They have put the economic interest of the state of Tamil Nadu on hold to satisfy their fragile egos.
No, but what you're saying actually opens up a very interesting legal question, and I'd like to stay with that for just a bit. Now, the land in question was acquired specifically to build an airport. So what you're saying is if the airport is no longer being built, can that land legally be used for another purpose? Could the government's reported proposal, for instance, for an IT park and not an airport, or an IT campus for that matter at Parandur, actually face legal hurdles?
See, they'll not be able to do anything else there. It's not possible. You cannot do that. An IT park in Parandur, I don't know who are giving them these kind of ideas. See, these are all knee-jerk comments, knee-jerk reactions. They never thought this will become it will bring such a big backlash. So they're afraid of the backlash now. So they're giving just silly reasons. Oh, we will build an IT park there. We will bring this there. We will bring that there. It's not going to work that way.
Right, finally, before I let you go, Mr. Saravanan, if the TVK government quickly identifies another site and begins acquiring land, would it then receive the support across party lines to build Chennai's second airport? Or do you think the political battle over Parandur is all set to continue?
Yeah, see, Jude, we'll have to understand one thing. There is no other site within the 200-kilometer radius of Chennai which would be feasible to have an airport. I'm saying 200-kilometer radius. If they're able to find one, then the price they're going to pay, the political price, the economical price, the ecological price, the human price, who's going to bear that? So this is not just a political issue. This is about the future of the state of Tamil Nadu. This is a foolhardy decision. I don't know how they're going to substantiate this. And the people of Tamil Nadu are watching this. These kind of clownish acts are not going to be easily taken by the people of Tamil Nadu. There is no reason. There is no reason at all for cancellation of this project except that the statement of Mr. Vijay that I will cancel if I got elected to power. There were several other promises, bro. Have you done anything? You promised that you will waive off all the farm loans. You promised that women can free travel anywhere across the state. You promised 6 cylinders. You promised so many other things. You did not do anything. But this is easy because it has to just become a statement. That's it. You'll have to make a statement and everything goes off. So people will judge you.
Right, Mr. Saravanan, let's just hope that there's some certainty over that project itself and Chennai eventually gets its second airport, Parandur or anywhere else. Thank you so much for joining us on South Central to share those insights with us. But moving on, Karnataka has now reported a whopping 4,212 laboratory-confirmed influenza cases, or H1N1, across 32 districts so far this year, nearing the 4,583 cases recorded during all of last year. Bengaluru accounts for the bulk of these infections. The Greater Bengaluru Authority region, in fact, has recorded 2,070 cases, while Bengaluru Urban has in fact reported another 1,011 cases. The Karnataka Health Department, however, has said that this is a seasonal rise and not an outbreak. Officials also point out that the state typically witnesses 2 influenza peaks between January and March, and again between July and September. The government says surveillance has in fact been stepped up this year, and hospitals have been asked to maintain stocks of N95 masks, PPE kits and antiviral medication. People experiencing symptoms have also been asked and advised to avoid crowded places, maintain hand and respiratory hygiene, and seek medical care. And shifting focus to Hyderabad next, flying out of the city is all set to become cheaper, even as the airport's Economic Regulatory Authority has cut the user development fee for departing domestic passengers from the Rajiv Gandhi International Airport from 750 rupees to 515 rupees per passenger, effective from the 1st of September. In fact, this follows a similar reduction at Bengaluru's Kempegowda International Airport, where the domestic departure fee will fall from 550 rupees to 300 rupees from the same date. However, both airports will begin levying a separate user development fee for arriving passengers under the revised tariff structure. So, amid all the controversy around Parandur and Tamil Nadu, 2 of South India's other top airports in Bengaluru and Hyderabad seem to be upping their customer service game, even at the cost of a user development fee. Moving on to Coimbatore next, the city is also to play a much bigger role in the global water technology ecosystem. In fact, US-based Gradiant is expanding its global engineering center in the city, more than doubling its workforce from around 100 to 200 professionals. The Coimbatore Center will work on the design and execution of international projects across semiconductors, data centers, renewable energy, pharmaceuticals, and advanced manufacturing. Together with its Chennai operations, Gradiant plans to develop the two cities into a strategic global engineering hub over the next 3 years. But what exactly will Coimbatore deliver? How quickly will the new jobs be created? And how critical is water recycling to the AI and semiconductor boom? Joining us now to break this down is Gradient's COO Govind Alagappan. Govind, thank you so much for joining us on South Central today. My first question to you, what exactly will happen at your enhanced Coimbatore Center? Will teams here design, engineer and execute Gradient's global water treatment projects?
Glad to be on ET now for the second time in a few years. The Coimbatore Center is essentially an extension of the engineering capability we're building in India. We began in Chennai about 18 months ago, and we are now expanding and doubling down on the presence that we did. The role of what we're doing here in Coimbatore is not just for India, but it's the powerhouse of the full engineering capability across process, mechanical, all the disciplines that serve us and our ability to go and deliver our flagship solutions to all the industries that need our technologies.
Now, Govind, you're doubling the workforce in Coimbatore from 100 to 200. So when will these jobs be created and what roles and skill sets are you hiring for?
Perfect. Maybe if I can take a step back, Jude, it's good for everyone to understand what we do as a business, right? So we are a unicorn from Boston, started about 13 years ago, and recently we raised our Series E fundraising, putting us in a valuation about $2 billion. And we are an exclusive industrial water and wastewater technology provider. What that means is that if I can put a data point to you, a cell phone takes about 12,000 liters to make. And the list goes on from almost every single product that every one of us use consumes a large amount of water. And we use our technology to enable these industries recycle and reuse water. And in order to deliver these solutions at a global scale, the backbone of all of this is engineering. And we are building all the different functions that are required, right from process engineering to mechanical, instrumentation, electrical, and the entire suite of integration. So we're not a product company, we're not a widget company. Bringing this entire solution to about 25 to 30 countries across the world is the primary role of both the Chennai and now the expanded Coimbatore Engineering Center.
Right. And coming soon after your latest funding round itself, how much will you be investing in Coimbatore across hiring, infrastructure, training, and technology?
So the way we look at it is we don't break down these investments in people by dollar value, but what is relevant to us, Jude, is more the impact it can bring. So if you look at the headcount, it is more of quality and high value than the quantity. These are skillful engineers that we have developed over time, and there's Coimbatore has a nice ecosystem of universities and the general engineering talent available there. We expect this center to be capable of delivering upwards of $500 million in revenue for the company. That is the level of impact this center can produce for Gradient.
Right, and I'm just curious, why did Gradient actually choose Coimbatore for this expansion over established engineering hubs like, let's say, Bengaluru and Hyderabad? What's in it in the city that got you to choose it?
So we obviously are diversifying across, and Tamil Nadu plays a very strong role, not just in engineering, but also in water. There is a sizable amount of talent that is connected to water in the state. So we are, you can say, anchored in Tamil Nadu, but we expect to expand. We just expanded a small office in Ahmedabad. We expect to expand in Pune and other centers as well. But the anchor for the Indian operations and the Global Engineering Center will continue to be Tamil Nadu.
So, well, Govind, as India expands its chip-making capacity, then how big is the semiconductor opportunity for Gradient, and what role will Coimbatore play in this?
I would say Coimbatore is already playing in the semiconductor ecosystem in India specifically. We are delivering solutions to the early adopters in India who have already put their foot in. But to address your question a little bit differently, Jude, is that the demand for semiconductors in India and across the world is only going to go higher and higher. I'll put that in perspective. A typical facility requires anywhere between 30 and 40 million liters a day. That's a massive amount, almost quite similar to a small town. And these facilities are constantly being built where there's a combination of land, power, water, talent available. In many cases, it's very difficult for these manufacturers to address all of those. So our role as a technology company is to eliminate water as a constraint, meaning to say water doesn't need to be an important parameter that they look at where to invest, because our technologies are capable of recycling up to a 99%, so they can keep reusing the same amount of water as long as the technology is in place.
Well, Govind Alagappan, congratulations again on the expansion of your Coimbatore Center, and let's hope the city plays a vital role in freshwater technology given the semiconductor boom around the country. Thank you for joining us on South Central. And before we end, let's take a look at how Kerala is wearing a festive look as the state prepares to celebrate Onam. In fact, on Uttradam, that's the eve of the main festival, temples, markets and homes across Kerala have been bustling with activity. Large crowds gathered at the famous Guruvayur Sri Krishna temple in Thrissur, with devotees dressed in traditional attire, offering prayers and seeking blessings. Elsewhere, families are putting finishing touches to colourful pookalams, even as shopping for new clothes and preparing for the traditional Ona Sadhya has already begun. In fact, the elaborate vegetarian feast, the Ona Sadhya, served on a traditional banana leaf, remains one of the best and biggest highlights of traditional Onam celebrations. Remember, Onam marks the annual homecoming of the legendary King Mahabali and is celebrated as a festival of prosperity, equality and togetherness. So from floral decorations and temple rituals to cultural performances and family gatherings, festive cheer is visible all across Kerala. The Chief Minister V.D. Satheesan has also extended his Onam greetings to Malayalis in the state and across the world, hoping for the best from the festive season, even as Kerala continues to celebrate the spirit of Onam. So with that, a very happy Onam to you and your families from wherever you're tuning in from. May the festive season and the harvest festival really bring prosperity and peace wherever you are. And with that, we've also reached the end of our bulletin today, but we'll be back tomorrow with more news and updates from South India. For the moment, it's goodbye from us.